As they say in PIHL hockey, let's do that PIHL hockey. The 2023 push for the Penguins Cup playoffs continues on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV, presented by Weight Loss Direct. Hello, good evening, and welcome. I'm Matt Popchock. Great to be back with you at the Mt.Lebanon Ice Center, where it is senior night, as you just saw a little while ago, for the Mt.Lebanon Blue Devils. And week 19 of the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Hockey League regular season begins with a critical doubleheader. Game number one pits the Blue Devils against their South Hills arch rivals, the Upper St. Clair Panthers. And we just saw the Upper St. Clair Panthers right down the road at Ice Castle last Thursday as the state champion Peters Township Indians handed them a hard-fought 2-1 loss in Class AAA action last Thursday night. But because Bethel Park concurrently lost to Seneca Valley, the Panthers, by default, have clinched their spot in the Penguins Cup playoffs. What does that mean for the Mt.Lebanon Blue Devils? Well, it means that Mt.Lebanon, which earlier that night came roaring back from 3-0 down to steal Baldwin's senior night game from the Highlanders in overtime, the Blue Devils can conceivably steal the last available playoff spot in Class AAA with 2 regular season games remaining, including this senior night affair tonight. Mt.Lebanon will move into the 8th and final spot with a victory because they have won the season series from the Highlanders. Next up for Baldwin, by the way, they're at Upper St. Clair on the 23rd. Then they close at North Allegheny. Bethel Park, meanwhile, is at Pine Richland. Then they close home with Cathedral Prep. Then at Peters Township in the last regular season game. So just so many ifs at play at the very bottom of that Penguins Cup playoff picture. And it really is impressive that this Mt.Lebanon team, which has dressed a total of 26 players this year, only 7 of which are seniors, and they've gone through their share of growing pains, but they've come together at the right time, and they've got a chance to really upset the apple cart in Class AAA. Key to their success has been one of those seniors, alternate captain Matt Gates, who had an assist the last time these teams played against each other, which was a 5-2 Upper St. Clair victory at the Ice Castle on the first Monday of January. Gates, last Thursday at the Ice Castle, drove to the net and scored the overtime winner halfway through the sudden victory period to complete the 4-3 comeback victory for the Mt.Lebanon Blue Devils. And for the Upper St. Clair Panthers, well, they've got a couple of seniors as well, even though as a team they've been kind of feast or famine offensively. One of their most consistent players all year long has just been anointed a PIHL Player of the Month, Colin Ruffner. He had a shorthanded breakaway goal last Thursday in that losing effort for the Panthers. In the month of January, Ruffner, 11 goals, 18 total points. He comes into this game riding an 8-game overall goal streak. Ruffner, number 77 for the Panthers, a January PIHL Player of the Month. And he's going to have to find ways to score on Austin Martin of Mt.Lebanon, one of the senior honorees, who was a December PIHL Player of the Month. And tied with Colin Ruffner with 41 points atop the Class AAA scoring chart, his line mate, Aaron Stowarski. Stowarski wearing number 32 in black for the USC Panthers, 19 goals, 22 assists. He set up that Ruffner shorthanded goal last Thursday. And Stowarski finds himself 5th in the goal-scoring race in Class AAA. He's got 9 points in all in his last 3 games played. So a couple of very dynamic forwards, and for that matter, world-class penalty killers this season, as they have combined for over 10 shorthanded points in all between the two of them, are going up against this Blue Devils team that has been more of a grinding defensive team. And they've relied upon Austin Martin, their goaltender, to nurse them through a lot of tough games. Mt.Lebanon ranking 5th out of the 11 teams in Class AAA in team defense. So they've played very well in that area as a team. They're in the top half of the classification, and a lot of that is due to the play of Martin. And we are just moments away from puck drop here on senior night for the Mt.Lebanon Blue Devils. A great crowd here at the Ice Center on Cedar Boulevard, as we would expect for a rivalry game, and for that matter, a rivalry game that has high stakes for at least one of these teams. Upper St. Clair, they're trying to improve their playoff positioning. Upper St. Clair, if they can continue winning and win out, can finish potentially as high as 5th place in the classification, depending upon how tiebreakers and stuff work out. And so now we honor America. Couple of second-year coaches on the benches for these teams. David Stock of Upper St. Clair, Jeremy Church of Mount Lebanon. Stock's Panthers, a program that's been around for 51 years. They've been to the postseason now as of last week after last Thursday's league results, 41 times in all. Church assisted by Dave Hornack, who's been involved with PIHL hockey since before any of these players were born. Very respected coach here in the South Hills area. Been part of a lot of Mount Lebanon teams that have certainly seen happier days, but the Blue Devils coming off what should be a confidence-building win just a few days ago and fired up to play in front of their friends and family here at home on senior night. Mount Lebanon 4-5 on home ice this season, so they've been holding their own in home games despite the record being what it is overall. Upper St. Clair coming in with an overall mark of 9-7 plus 1 shootout loss. That 1 shootout loss came on the road. Upper St. Clair beyond that is 4-3 on the road. And it is Louis Liberatore, the senior, getting the nod in goal for the Panthers as he opposes Austin Martin. And the Blue Devils and those yellow alternates move the puck into Upper St. Clair territory, and they do so from right to left on your TV, computer, or mobile device to begin tonight's senior night battle with their big rivals from right down the road and across the block. Aaron Stewarski near corner out in front and intended for Hardy, and the follow-up try by Ruffner. That was denied by Martin. Gates comes roaring back to center, and he takes a hard shoulder check from Stewarski, and that draws some retaliation from Sawyer Klasnick, who had a goal and an assist the last time these teams faced each other. Mount Lebanon trying to beat USC for the first time since January 17th of 2022, which was a 4-2 Blue Devil victory in this barn. Mount Lebanon getting it back inside the USC blue line as both teams are making changes. George Garces gets it deep into Mount Lebanon territory where it's held defensively by Zimic. Gave it away nearly to Colin McFeely. McFeely forces this puck to the boards. The Blue Devils try to methodically get it back to center, and they might have an odd man rush if they can settle this puck down, but Tetlow had trouble playing it, so Jacob Lehman will just dump it in, and Klasnick wants to come off early here in a scoreless first period for Mount Lebanon. Puck battle near side along the Upper St. Clair boards is won by the Panthers, but the Blue Devils steal the puck. Wirtz unable to redirect that puck toward the net, and so the Panthers are going to ice it. Or will they? No, referee Hendry does not put up the arm. Maybe Hendry felt that the Blue Devils dummied that play, but in any event, we play on here. Garces, the Upper St. Clair captain, gets it through neutral ice. Now the Panthers retreat to play this puck defensively. And the Blue Devils almost got caught in a bad change there, but Fisher couldn't handle the outlet pass. And now Mt.Lebanon gets this puck deep, where Andrew Jalamis, the senior defenseman, will play it around the boards. Cut off at the right point by the Blue Devils. Luke Eberhardt, the junior defenseman, trying to send it deep. Upper St. Clair comes right back through center. On the off wing is Keller. Dom Keller's shot to goal. It was blocked. Good gap control by Lebo here in their own end. Drew Lesak pulling this puck at the edge of the left circle, in behind the Mt.Lebanon goal. On the backhand of Eberhardt, it's sent around the boards this time, and bodies colliding high and hard in the far corner. Upper St. Clair bench likes what they see there as Mt.Lebanon brings this puck up through center. Brian Offerman over the line. Backed up by Caden Lane, the sophomore, as the Panthers put this puck out of play. Peters Township, Seneca Valley, Pittsburgh Central Catholic, North Allegheny, Pine Richland, Upper St. Clair, and Erie Cathedral Prep, the teams that have clinched Penguins Cup playoff spots. Again, Upper St. Clair mathematically cannot host a playoff game, but they can move up in the standings and maybe get a better matchup with a win here tonight and beyond, as they have 3 games left on their regular season, including this one. Panthers play it in the general direction of Austin Martin, who watches it go to the corner on his left. Couple of sticks tied up near corner, intercepted by the Panthers. Snapshot into the logo where Martin holds it. Graham Tauk, the junior, pulling the trigger on that one to force the offensive zone faceoff. Martin, 7th in minutes played with 795 of those. Top 3 in save percentage with a .909 mark. Top 5 in goals against with a .289 clip. 3 shutouts for Martin on the regular season, second most behind Jacob Dold of Pittsburgh Central Catholic. And he has officially made his first save of the night. He made 21 of those last time in a losing effort for the Blue Devils against Upper St. Clair. Martin missed the team's last game. The come from behind win, the dramatic one over the Baldwin Highlanders. Brennan Horgan, his fellow senior and pregame honoree, earned the victory in that contest, his first of the regular season. And Martin going through an equipment problem of some sorts here as we have a pregnant pause with 13:48 to go in a scoreless first period. Upper St. Clair, a team that, again, is in the playoffs, but they've been spinning their tires a bit of late. They've lost 3 of 4 since that big overtime win over Peters Township, including a loss in the rematch with Peters Township that we just told you about, and that you just saw on 10-Band TV and Peters Hockey TV a week ago. A goal differential of -5 in that span. USC's goal differential for the year is +2. Blue Devils win the draw on their own zone. Gates lets it go through his legs. It comes nearly the length of the ice as leaving his net to play it, and almost dangerously so was Liberatore. Blue Devils have it down low. Wilcox was calling for the puck. It's loose out in front. Liberatore can't cover. One of the Blue Devils reaching for it. That was Gates, but he was too well marked by Jalamis. Up ahead it comes to Stewarski. Stewarski trying to drop for Ruffner. He can't. It rolls in on Martin, and he covers. Nick Morgan had one of the top 2 scorers in PIHL Class AAA covered there, as David Stock's dynamic duo was trying to get the Panthers on the board first. McFeely to take the draw for USC against Braden Wirtz, the Mt.Lebanon junior. Referee Hendry barking out some last-minute instructions to both sides as the Blue Devils get another clean face-off win in their own end. Mt.Lebanon gradually brings this puck out to neutral red. And here come the Blue Devils from a bad angle. They score! Lehman pulls a Lemieux and scores from a bad angle to give Mt.Lebanon a 1-0 lead. Not quite 4 minutes into senior night. His 5th of the junior year. Looked like Liberatore had the angle cut down. Lehman had other ideas. And Mt.Lebanon gets that all-important first goal here at home. Well, we told you the Blue Devils might have some mojo after what they pulled off at the Ice Castle last Thursday. And Parker Arlett, the freshman, is going to want to hang on to that puck because that's his first ever varsity point. Assisting on the Lehman goal as Liberatore makes a loud kick save from his right pad. Blue Devils right back on the attack, leading 1-0 with 12:25 to go on a moving first period clock. Upper St. Clair changing on the fly here as the Blue Devils play it near corner. Up the boards to Offerman. Offerman met at the half wall as the Blue Devils get it back to center and up ahead for Wilcox, the Mt.Lebanon captain. Wilcox sandwiched. And that was Rory Sheegan-Sanalski who gave him the worst of that one. Panthers at center ice, get it deep. They have to tag up here as Mt.Lebanon touches this puck behind their goaltender, Austin Martin. Outlet pass to Gates. Gates trying to dance around Stowarski. And again, a delayed offside called here against Upper St. Clair, so they will yield, and Mt.Lebanon will drag it up beyond the official's crease and tap it into USC territory. Gates chasing after this puck near side. Colin Ruffner beats him to the punch. Ruffner, long lead pass to Stowarski. Stowarski, right circle. Stowarski lost it at the last moment. Good stick check there by Nick Morgan. Sawyer Klasnick trying to tap this puck around Jalamis. Jalamis outmaneuvers him. Wilcox providing support offensively for Lebo. Now Wilcox has it for the Blue Devils to Gates. Behind the net now. Liberatore looks to his left and Upper St. Clair has it, but not for long. Gates forces the turnover. And he and Jalamis go to their knees trying to fight for possession behind the net. Dribbling puck in front, played alertly to the boards by Sheegan-Sanalski. And around the dasher it comes to Aaron Stowarski going cross ice for Ruffner. Ruffner slowly over the Mt.Lebanon blue line. 1-on-3. Pulls back. Centers for Garces. Garces fanned on the slap shot. Garces from the boards. He's contacted from behind by the senior defenseman Brady Dunn. Panthers play the puck behind the net. Out in front it comes. It's loose to Klasnick now for Mt.Lebanon. And the Blue Devils sail this puck back to center ice. Flagged down by William Duff. Duff threw it to the wrong shoulder of Peyton Gillespie, the Upper St. Clair senior. That should allow Mt.Lebanon to get it up through center, but this might also go for icing against the Blue Devils, and it will with just over 10 to go in the first period. The only goal thus far belongs to Mt.Lebanon junior Jacob Lehman. Mt.Lebanon only 5 first period goals coming into week 19. And they've got one already. Ruffner against Wilcox, face off to the right of Austin Martin, and the Blue Devils control far side. Ruffner steals. Ruffner for Stowarski, the alternate captain for Sheegan-Sanalski. His shot blocked. Sheegan-Sanalski gets it again at the right point. Gates is watching him as the puck is played to the corner. Stowarski stabbing at it with that left hand. Sheegan-Sanalski has it above the right circle. Pinballing puck out in front. Turnaround try by Stowarski wouldn't go. And this puck is Murphy dumped back to center where it's gloved down legally by Sheegan-Sanalski and sent up ahead to Zach Hardy. Hardy, one of the premier puck-moving defensemen in the classification, helps redirect this puck in the general direction of Austin Martin, who will settle for an defensive zone faceoff, as both teams want to make changes before said puck drop. Face-off won by the Panthers this time. Garces shooting from the right point, blocked by Tetlow. Patrick Tetlow with a big goal and assist, and that come from behind win over Baldwin last Thursday. Now he plays it from his own half wall, up to center for Lehman, the lone goal getter. Lehman makes sure he has the red line and sends it in behind the Panthers' cage. From the corner, it's given back to Lehman. Loose puck above the left circle, played by Paul Zimick, the Mount Lebanon defenseman who thought about pinching, but now he pulls back to try and cover Dom Keller as the Panthers send it deep into the Mount Lebanon zone. Tetlow trying to get around the referee as this puck comes in behind Austin Martin. And we've hit the midpoint of the first period with Mount Lebanon leading Upper St. Clair 1-0 here on senior night for the Blue Devils. Icing indicated against Lebo by referee Featherstone, and so that'll bring it back into Lebo territory. Both teams were just about to complete line changes, which you can do in high school hockey, even if you ice the puck, so that's what they will do. Face-off coming up to Austin Martin's right. Eberhardt deferring. And Mount Lebanon wins this face-off on its own end. Played on the backhand by Eberhardt up to center. Jalamas going in after it defensively for USC around the boards. Settled down by Eli Rankin. Sent near side now. Panthers unable to get it back to center. It's put weakly on goal, sticked aside by Liberatore. Rankin from the far boards for Gillespie. That pass a little too heavy. And that allows the Blue Devils to play it back to center. Jalamas around the boards for Rankin. Rankin, his defensive partner, outletting to Colin McFeely. McFeely for Gillespie. Gillespie bodied hard by Parker Arlett, the freshman. A good clean check there by the Mount Lebanon youngster. As Caden Lane crosses the Upper St. Clair blue line, tries to go after this bouncing puck, but it's going to be taken away by Duff. Blue Devils hop right back on the attack here, but they can't hang on to the puck, which comes near side for Duff. Duff up ahead to Gillespie. Ruffner goes in after that dump in for Upper St. Clair for Stewarski. Stewarski out in front. One-timer directed just wide by Hardy, but Hardy still has this puck. Centering pass for Garces at the center point is broken up, and here comes Mount Lebanon the other way. Klasnick driving the net. His cross-ice pass intended for Wilcox was not to be. Ruffner pokes at this puck as the Panthers play a little bit of keep away in the far corner. Garces, the Upper St. Clair captain, from behind his own net to Stewarski. Cross-ice pass picked off by Wilcox, and Wilcox is content to get it deep. 6.5 to go in the first. Blue Devils leading Upper St. Clair 1-0 on a goal by Jacob Lehman. Gates tries to cross the blue line. He's bodied hard by Garces. And Upper St. Clair outlets it to Stewarski. Stewarski couldn't reach this pass, and it's going to go for icing against the Panthers. Liberatore, the Upper St. Clair senior, 340 minutes played, 3-4 overall record, .450 on the goals against average, .839 save percentage. Playing generally as a backup to Timothy Cottrell, the freshman who we saw in action against Peters Township last Thursday night. A couple players with their sticks tied up in the far corner, but play continues. Under 6 to go in the opening frame as the Panthers tap this puck back to center for Fisher. Luke Fisher pays the price from Zimick as Mount Lebanon plays the puck behind their own net. It's one touched up to the center red line. Reversing the play is Dom Keller. Blue Devils inadvertently put it off the leg of Luke Fisher. That's a break for USC, but Zimick immediately cleans up the mess, and he'll take matters into his own hands, going near side for Lehman. Lehman going after this puck as he pins his man against the boards. Braden Wirtz tapping it in behind the goal line. Fisher up ahead now for Keller. Keller puts it wide of the glove hand of Martin from over 60 feet as David Stock wants to complete a line change here. Garces off the glass, and McFeely lets it go to Rankin, but Rankin couldn't handle that bouncing puck. Panthers will try to play it again from their own blue line, and they do so to McFeely, who lets it go into the Blue Devil zone. Brian Offerman immediately sending it back into USC territory. Tauk behind his own net. Picked off by Offerman of Mount Lebanon. Offerman double teamed in the corner. Panthers have it in their own zone. And dragging it out to center is Gillespie. McFeely trailing the play. He's poke checked neatly by Offerman. Jeremy Church changing on the fly late in this first period with his team up 1-0. Reaching back for this puck is Rankin as he takes a shoulder up high from Caden Lane. Matt Gates crossing the USC blue line. In the meantime, Gates from behind the net. Gates looking for a man out in front. He thought about going to Wilcox, and Wilcox was well covered. Offerman from behind his own goal. That pass picked off by the Panthers. Turnaround try by Ruffner goes wide of the blue paint. Stewarski for Ruffner. And we get a whistle and a stoppage in play here as the net behind Austin Martin has become dislodged. Five of the game's first 7 shots on goal belong to the Upper St. Clair Panthers, but the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils are up where it counts thanks to an early even strength goal from junior forward Jacob Lehman. And the Blue Devils are going to ice this puck as referee Featherstone blows his whistle. Players mulling around that left circle in Mount Lebanon territory, so it looks like this faceoff is going to come in that area. Well, I stand corrected. It's going to come to the left of Austin Martin. Clean faceoff win for Mount Lebanon in any event. Upper St. Clair has to hustle to retrieve this puck, and Andrew Jalamas will do so, playing it on his backhand for Colin Ruffner. Ruffner with 23 goals, 18 assists, 41 points, tied with teammate Aaron Stewarski for the Class AAA lead in points. And here come the Panthers, and Ruffner over the line, dropping for Zach Hardy. Hardy shoots off Martin, who makes a save with his left arm. And we get a stoppage here with just over 3 minutes left in period 1. They're going to say hand pass, I believe, against the Panthers. So that'll bring the face-off all the way back into Upper St. Clair territory. Correction, they're going to bring it outside Mount Lebanon territory. Now, trying to read referee body language is a gamble. I know that going in. And the Blue Devils win this faceoff, as I believe Upper St. Clair was actually guilty of offside there. I don't think hand pass was actually indicated. So why officials were skating all the way back into USC territory, I have no idea. No matter, here come the Blue Devils, playing this puck into the Panthers zone. USC from behind its own net. Owen Mucho, the sophomore defenseman, trying to get it up ahead of the play. Unable to do so. Mucho's going to try again for Keller. Blue Devils instead tapping in behind the Upper St. Clair goal. Keller pivots and plays it defensively. A nifty little nutmeg there as he gets it through the legs of Braden Wirtz. And the Panthers are able to get this puck deep in the final 2 minutes of first period play. Tetlow from his own circle. Up to nobody in particular except Rory Sheegan-Sanowski. And he sends this puck off a stick and in behind the Mount Lebanon net. Zimic from behind his own cage. Up ahead to Caden Lane. Lane trying to outmaneuver Jalamis, but Jalamis stood him up nicely at the Upper St. Clair blue line as this puck deflects out of play. So we get a stoppage with a $1:39 to go in this first period. Delayed offside against Upper St. Clair. Panthers retreat to play this puck. Ruffner peeling back. And he will skate it out to center himself, but he gave it up to Callan Wilcox. Wilcox over the line, looking for Klasnick. Goes there. Klasnick behind the net. Wraparound try. Save made Liberatore. Wilcox has the rebound. Wilcox has knocked off the puck, and it comes free to Ruffner. Ruffner having some trouble playing it on the slushy ice in the far corner, right in front of those Mount Lebanon Senior Night banners, as Brady Dunn and Nick Morgan, the senior duo, retreat to play it defensively for the Blue Devils. Gates off the boards, and up ahead for Dunn. Dunn has Klasnick going down the middle. Dunn gonna shoot it himself. Save made Liberatore. Rebound pushed wide by Klasnick. Loose puck out in front, comes right to Ruffner. That's a fortunate bounce for the Panthers. Now Stewarski brings it over the Mount Lebanon blue line. Dropping for Zach Hardy. Crossing a little too far for Ruffner. Shot off the side of the net. Martin was ready for it. Follow-up try is blocked away from Garces. Final 15 seconds of the period. Stewarski forces the turnover. Martin unable to cover this puck. 10 seconds left out in front. One-timer score! Knock, knock. Who's there? Colin Ruffner at the back door. And with 9.9 ticks to talk, we've got a 1-1 game. Colin Ruffner, the January PIHL Class AAA Player of the Month, with his Class AAA leading 24th goal of the regular season. The Panthers patiently tilted the ice as that period wound down and eventually got rewarded as Stewarski and Ruffner hook up again right before the buzzer to get the Panthers back in it. Thank you, Austin McLean. And thank you for tuning in to another doubleheader on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV, presented by Weight Loss Direct. We'll be back with a second period in just a moment here from the Mount Lebanon Ice Center, where it's Blue Devils 1, Upper St. Clair Panthers 1. I'm Matt Popchock. More PIHL hockey in a moment. And you're looking there at the jerseys hanging to honor the 7 Mount Lebanon senior honorees. Brennan Horgan, Austin Martin, Brady Dunn, Callan Wilcox, Nick Morgan, Matt Gates, and Paul Zimick in no particular order. It was a junior that got the party started, though, on senior night for the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils, Jacob Lehman. But with 9 seconds to spare, Colin Ruffner extended his goal streak to 9 games before the end of period 1. Shots in that first period, 7-4 in favor of the visiting Panthers, who are now tied with the Blue Devils here on Mount Lebanon Senior Night, 1-1, as the teams have switched sides. Black and yellow going at it one more time as the Blue Devils get this puck deep. Love a good solid on solid jersey matchup. Nathan Tran from center red sends it to the corner. Jalamis pulling back behind the Upper St. Clair net. Near side tried to go to Rankin, but the puck took an odd bounce, and a convenient one for Braden Wirtz, who plays it along the half wall before he is buttressed by Jalamas. Tran from the boards. Oh, and off the crossbar. Nathan Tran, the freshman, finding metal but not mesh. He almost had his first varsity goal. Jacob Lehman from the right hash mark. This time it goes wide of the crease, and just about everything else as bodies collide. Far side, and now the puck comes near corner for Jalamas. Wirtz gets it deep. Wilcox, the captain for Mt.Lebanon, going in after it. One of the Panthers lost his puck at his feet. That's Jalamas, and he is bodied hard from behind by Wirtz. That's a break for the Blue Devils. Wilcox pries it away. Wilcox from the near corner surveys the play, goes behind the net. Now out in front. Oh, Mt.Lebanon trying to take a page out of David Stock's playbook as Liberatore had the side of the net covered on that one. A good cycle there by the Blue Devils, but finally Upper St. Clair is able to ice this puck and give Louis Liberatore some relief at the other end. But he'll have to sweat out a defensive zone face-off as a consequence. And this is Bell, I believe, the varsity insert for Mt.Lebanon, taking this face-off in the offensive zone, which the Blue Devils win. Puck nearly played into the Mt.Lebanon bench, but it eventually dribbles back to the Blue Devils' blue line. Garces reeling it in for Upper St. Clair over the blue line. Sends it in behind Austin Martin. Reversing the play is Eberhardt defensively. And now the Panthers have it again. Keller from the high slot area with a hard snapshot right into the glove hand of Austin Martin. Face-off coming up to Martin's left. Won cleanly by the Panthers, and right off the draw, Martin has to find that puck in his equipment as Stewarski had the quick trigger finger. And so we'll do it again from the same spot. Panthers have it again. Hardy from long range. That's knocked aside by Martin. Gates has the rebound for Mt.Lebanon and put it off the Upper St. Clair bench as we get a stoppage in play here as Sheegan Sanowski was dumped inside the official's crease. No penalty called. Now that play happened after the whistle had blown, so objectively that's the correct decision. And so again, we get a face-off in the right wing circle, Mt.Lebanon territory in a 1-1 game. 14:54 to go to the ice cut here on Blue Devils senior night. And another clean face-off win for the Panthers, and a stick save there by Martin. Stewarski gets back to his feet. He protects this puck on his backhand. Stewarski knocked down as play continues. Blue Devils, unable to clear the zone as Jalamas tries to go back to Aaron Stewarski. Stewarski shoving Brady Dunn as he tries to play the puck. And maybe a mistake there by Stewarski to play the man instead of the puck, but in any event, the Panthers retain possession. Jalamas through traffic. A good read there by Martin as one of the Blue Devils is dumped after the whistle. And retaliating is Klasnick in front of his own goaltender, but cooler heads prevailing for the moment. Oh, no power plays for either team just yet, which are, for any broadcaster, famous last words in a rivalry game. Right up there with, is this thing on? A good crowd again here tonight, as you would expect for a rivalry game. These two teams have seen a lot of each other over the years, and both teams having sort of average to below average regular seasons, but both teams still have the ability to affect the AAA playoff picture, as Martin again has to make an alert save off an own zone faceoff. Upper St. Clair with a big territorial edge early in this second period after they pulled even right before time expired in the first. Colin Ruffner, the January PIHL Player of the Month and Senior All-Star, his 24th goal of the regular season to lead Class AAA and get USC on level pegging. That shot just went wide of the crease. Good effort there by Lehman, who has the only marker for Mt.Lebanon. Arlett, the freshman, retreating to play it defensively. Around the boards it comes to Jacob Lehman. Lehman braces for impact from Garces as this puck is airborne and gloved down by one of the Blue Devils. Up for Lehman again, kept inside the offensive zone by Garces. Zimic trying to shield this puck away from one of the Panthers. And that was Amir Al-Solani playing this puck deep in Blue Devil territory, and again trying to play it in neutral ice now for the Panthers. Al-Solani, the sophomore, didn't appear in last Thursday's game that we were able to take note of. Getting some ice time here in the second period for David Stock's Panthers as this puck bounces off the glass and just barely stays in action. Outlet pass for Lehman. Went off his stick and deep into Panther territory as Jeremy Church wants to change on the fly. Arlett unable to get it out of his own zone. Dom Keller has it now for the Panthers. For Luke Fisher. Fisher trying to drop it back to Jalamas at the left point, but never made it that way. And the 2-on-1 for the Blue Devils. Liam Shin driving the net. He shoots, save made, Liberatore. His biggest save of the game, and a penalty coming up now as Liberatore covers in front of his crease. And I think the Blue Devils might be getting a power play. The first for either team with 12:27 to go in the second period. And it's going to be Keller, the senior forward, who will feel shame for 2 minutes and then get free. And he makes an angry gesture at the Mt.Lebanon bench as he skates off in a bit of disgust. Mt.Lebanon to the power play in a 1-1 game. Blue Devils have struggled on the man advantage this season. Next to the bottom in the 11-team AAA classification at 13.6%. But they won the special teams battle against Baldwin. That played a big role in their come-from-behind win in that game. So let's see if the Blue Devils have learned any lessons since last Thursday night. Gates controls the face-off for Mt.Lebanon, but he can't hang on to this puck. And an important clear there by Colin Ruffner as Stewarski presses shorthanded, and he puts it just wide of the net. You've got the two best penalty killers on the line together in Class AAA. You don't want to do what the Blue Devils just did there, as Stewarski almost had a step on both Mt.Lebanon back checkers, and he just barely put that puck out of play. Ruffner and Stewarski, a combined 17 points in shorthanded situations this season for the Upper St. Clair Panthers. That is easily the most of any tandem in AAA. And as we said, those two hooked up for a shorty against Peters Township just a few days ago. Stewarski dumps it in, bouncing puck corralled by Martin. 1:20 to go in the Mt.Lebanon power play. 11:45 to go to the ice cut here at the Mt.Lebanon Ice Center, where the Blue Devils and Upper St. Clair Panthers are tied at 1. Morgan on the off wing. Hits the brakes, leaves it for Klasnick. Klasnick gave it up to one of the Panthers, and a chance the other way for Ruffner. Ruffner, left circle, cross ice pass, snapshot, score! He's not Carnival personnel! Zach Hardy! We told you they like to press shorthanded. 2-1 Panthers, 11:25 to go in the second period. Midway through the Lebo man advantage, a 2-on-1. And for Ruffner, that is 10 points shorthanded this season. Unbelievable. Hardy, the all-star senior defenseman, his 9th goal of the campaign. And the Panthers have their first lead of the night here right down the block. Correction, it is Peyton Gillespie, the other senior, 94, not 80 for Zach Hardy with that goal, so that is Gillespie's second. As my eyes deceived me in the moment, so Gillespie will get his second. Hardy does get a point, and Hardy leads Class AAA now with 23 assists. One of the top puck-moving defensemen in the league, Zach Hardy. And again, he had that all-star nod earlier this season as the Blue Devils' power play is in its dying moments here with 10.5 to go to the ice cut. A big momentum shift there for the Panthers to get that shorty and take the lead. And a long lead pass for Stewarski. Stewarski peels around Zimic, drops for Ruffner. Ruffner for Stewarski, couldn't handle the cross-ice feed. Now Zach Hardy has it down low. Hardy for Garces, for Ruffner who shoots, and Martin made a save right there from his knees, and the rebound just skittered wide. Icing against the Blue Devils.
Fans, as you know, we did celebrate our senior night tonight from Mt.Lebanon, and we do want to give a shout out to the Upper St. Clair seniors, George Garces, Andrew Giovanis, Aaron Sowarski, Dominic Keller, Louis Laboratory, Colin Ruffner, Zach Hardy, and Peyton Gillespie. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
And a nice sportsmanship moment there for the Blue Devils as they congratulate the Upper St. Clair seniors on fine seasons. Thank you, Austin McLean, as we are back to action here in Mt.Lebanon territory with the Blue Devils now trailing 2-1 on Mt.Lebanon senior night. Playing it defensively is Gates. Gates is bodied up high by Jalamis. And a turnover to the aforementioned Andrew Jalamis of Upper St. Clair. He works around Tran. He goes in behind the net now as his puck is poke-checked by Nathan Tran. Tran trying to work his man over as it's free at the side of the net for Stewarski, but Stewarski couldn't get it on net. Matt Gates back to center for Mt.Lebanon. Gates trying to split three men all at once. And he drew a penalty in the process as he bodies Jalamis into the corner right as the whistle blows. And so Jeremy Church will hope that the second time is the charm with 9 minutes to go in the second period. Graham Tauk, the junior defenseman, the guilty party for Upper St. Clair. And so a second power play in a row for the Mt.Lebanon Blue Devils. And what's ironic is the Panthers as a team are only 77.4% on the penalty kill. That's only 9th in Class AAA as a team, but they're very opportunistic, clearly, and they have players who are very good at being very opportunistic. If you give them any kind of an opening or make any kind of mistake of any kind, bam, it can end up in the back of your own net like that. Interference, the official indication against Tauk as this puck is put just wide of the net by Zimic. Around the boards it comes. Jacob Lehman letting it go to Paul Zimic. Zimic left point, crossing with Brady Dunn. Dunn top of the right circle, toward the net. That was blocked off the leg of Rankin, I believe. And it's pinned up against the meshing on the back of the Upper St. Clair net. So that ceases play with a minute 36 to go and the Mt.Lebanon man advantage. Approaching the midpoint of this period and this game here. Game 1 of our PIHL Hockey Night Live doubleheader on 10-band TV, and Week 19 action continues as we will shift gears to the Class A Gold Division and look at a playoff picture that can be charitably described as intricate. Avonworth visiting Chartiers Valley in our nightcap, so stay tuned for that just after 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Hardy retreating. Around the boards for Ruffner, and Ruffner plays it high up into the rafters and almost off the head of Jeremy Church. Oh boy. Everybody appears to be okay, and so that'll stop play and bring the face-off into Upper St. Clair territory with 1:26 to go in the Lebo power play. Sheegan-Sanowski unable to clear. Blue Devils have it. Wilcox from the corner for Gates. Gates from the circle, shooting, save made Liberatore, rebound, none to be had. Louis Liberatore, the Upper St. Clair senior, hangs on. 1:13 to go now on the 5-on-4, favoring the Blue Devils. The score favors the Upper St. Clair Panthers 2-1, thanks to a shorthanded goal on the first Mount Lebanon power play that we initially thought was scored by Zachary Hardy. According to public address, it was Peyton Gillespie who did the honors. Near side for Tran. Tran to Wilcox. Wilcox with a sneaky zone entry there as he comes in behind the Upper St. Clair net. Dropping it for Gates. Gates had a man calling for the puck out in front, and that was Nathan Tran, but Tran has to retreat to play this one. A break there for the Panthers with 35 to go in the power play. Tran outletting for Wilcox. Wilcox left side over the blue line. Wilcox dropping for Gates. Gates to the point for Nick Morgan. Morgan has some time, has some space, goes to Nathan Tran. Tran in behind the net with 15 to go on the Blue Devil power play. Gates cross ice out in front, one-timer, it's loose. Never made it cleanly on goal. Too many USC bodies in the way, and Stewarski comes back 2-on-2 with Ruffner. Stewarski trying to dance around Nathan Tran, he couldn't, but Ruffner has this puck, and that'll do it for the remainder of the Mount Lebanon power play. Wilcox takes it for Mount Lebanon, dances around Amir Al-Salani, and comes in over the blue line. He shoots it right into the glove of Liberatore, and he'll take that, thank you very much. And so as the terrestrial clock strikes 8 here in Western Pennsylvania, we have 6:46 to go to the ice cut. More special teams prowess by Upper St. Clair, which continues to hold a 2-1 lead. Al-Salani takes the outlet pass, sends it up ahead to Rankin, who snuck in behind the Blue Devils defense. Out in front for Al-Salani. Al-Salani with a turnaround maneuver, tried to set it up for Gillespie. That wouldn't go. Garces has it. Garces trying to center it for Gillespie one more time, but it was broken up by Eberhardt. Eberhardt up ahead now, has a man, that's Stashowski cutting to the goal. Stashowski contacted from behind, penalty coming up, and the Blue Devils are gonna get a third consecutive power play before they can get the extra attacker on here. And we got a penalty shot. Referee Featherstone raises both arms above his head. And I believe the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils, that means, have been awarded a penalty shot. And I believe that's the explanation that Jeremy Church is getting at the Mount Lebanon bench. It was a partially contested breakaway, but Chase Stashowski was fouled before he could get a clean shot on net, so the potential existed for a penalty shot to be called there. Still, it's always a surprise when it's not a clean breakaway, and I think that's what David Stock is arguing. He's arguing that it wasn't a clean breakaway, and so that should be a Blue Devil power play instead of a Blue Devil penalty shot. And whatever the explanation is from referee Featherstone, Stock isn't happy with it. And finally, referee Hendry says enough's enough. A penalty shot to sophomore Chase Stashowski. Blue Devils, a chance to get back even here with time ticking away in period 2. Stashowski drags it over the blue line. Stashowski to the goal. Off the iron! You could hear that one at the Castle Shannon Park and Ride. Stashowski found the spot he wanted, he picked it, but he couldn't quite hit it. And so Louis Liberatore will give some stick taps to that post, I would imagine, as it remains a 2-1 game in favor of USC. Blue Devils by inches, unable to convert on the penalty shot. And so here's Zach Hardy getting it up ahead of Ruffner. Ruffner, nifty pass to Hardy. Hardy off balance shot and a good save there off the right arm of Martin. Now Hardy put hard into the boards by one of the Blue Devils. Stewarski with it. Stewarski cross ice. Score! Thank you, sir. May I have another? Colin Ruffner makes it 3-1 Upper St. Clair. 5:37 to go to the ice cut. The two top scorers in PIHL Class AAA strike again. They combined for 6 points in all the last time these teams faced each other back at the beginning of January. And they are up to their old tricks here in the Mt.Lebanon Ice Center. Goal number 25 on the season for Colin Ruffner, the All-Star senior, and recent Player of the Month honoree to lead all Class AAA skaters. Gates and Klasnick trying to bring it over the line off the ensuing faceoff for Mt.Lebanon. Wilcox, the Blue Devil captain, has it, goes near side for Tran, who gains the red line and tries to dump it in, but it goes off the referee. Blue Devil student section not happy about that turn of events, as this puck is played at center by Gates. Gates lost it to Hardy. Hardy trying to drive the net. He can't. He was stood up by Zimic. Now Gates comes roaring back the other way for the Blue Devils. Gates 1-on-2, couldn't split the defense. Good stick work there by Jalamis as the Panthers come through center, 3 men strong. Stewarski looking for space. Stewarski on his backhand, off the mask of Martin, and it's cleared up, but not out. Now it does come up to the center circle where the Panthers have to tag up as Jalamis gets this puck deep. Upper St. Clair changing on the fly as this outlet pass goes underneath the stick of Matt Gates. Panthers will outlet it near side for Drew Lesak. Lesak met immediately by Nathan Tran, and that sends Mt.Lebanon on the counterattack. Patrick Tetlow in the corner, off the side of the net. Dom Keller up through center. Keller with good speed. Better stick check by Zimic. Graham Tauk unable to get that puck deep for the Panthers. Luke Fisher will do so this time. Tran retreating behind his own net, has it. Lehman trying to break it out, nothing doing. Blue Devils stymied a bit in their own zone as this bouncing puck is played at center. Off the bounce by Tauk, up ahead to Keller. Keller controls it in the left wing circle. Keller cross ice pass, had a man driving the net, that was Fisher, but those two couldn't connect. Braden Wirtz in transition for Mt.Lebanon. Wirtz has Lehman cutting down the middle. Instead, he goes to the goal where Liberatore will hug that puck and pin it against his blocker for a face-off. 3 unanswered by the Panthers here, beginning with that late first period goal by Colin Ruffner, who now has a pair for USC. And those late period goals, man, they can be game changers. Two big penalty kills in this period by the Panthers as well. And a bit of puck luck incurred on a penalty shot that was rung off the far post by Chase Stashowski. So it's a 2-goal game with the Panthers on the prowl one more time, with time ticking away in period 2. Rankin unable to go back to Jalamis, who retreats and waits for his teammates to get back on side. McFeely, his outlet pass a little too far. Upper St. Clair retreating. Sheegan Sanowski, right side for Gillespie. From the officials' crease, it's poked at by Offerman. Jalamis sends it nearly the length of the ice. Offerman has it, and now he will ice this puck, I believe, for the Blue Devils. No, they say no icing. So we play on in the final 2.5 of second period action. And Colin Ruffner has it for Upper St. Clair. He's hooked from behind by Stashowski. as play continues. Stewarski backing him up. He's knocked down. Penalty coming up against the Blue Devils. And you had a feeling that was just a matter of time. Blue Devils had a pair of power plays in this period that they weren't able to capitalize on, and they had that penalty shot. So when that's the way it goes, you know the even-up call of some kind is coming. You know the tide's going to turn eventually, as it tends to do in a hockey game. And so the Panthers will get their first power play of the night. Upper St. Clair very sharp on the man advantage this year, 20.8%, ranking third out of the 11 teams in Class AAA. Blue Devils on the penalty kill, 79.7%, which ranks eighth. Ruffner cross ice, one-timer is blocked on its way to the net, and Austin Martin will cover. Stashowski, who had that ill-fated penalty shot not long ago, is the man who sits in the sin bin for Mt.Lebanon. 1:40 to go now in the Upper St. Clair power play, trying to add to a 3-1 lead before the ice cut. Hardy, center point for Ruffner. Ruffner with it again. Ruffner for Stewarski. Back to Colin Ruffner. Ruffner for Aaron Stewarski. Stewarski trying to create space, goes to Ruffner left side. Ruffner for Stewarski as they continue to play pitch and catch. Hardy had a clean look at goal but couldn't handle the pass. Ruffner, center point. Too strong for Hardy. Bouncing puck to the corner. And Dunn meets one of the Panthers behind the goal line. That was Gillespie as it comes free to Garces. Good puck movement by the Panthers, but no shots on goal so far. Hardy from the right side for Stewarski. Stewarski, the alternate captain, out in front. Went by everybody. Hardy keeps it inside the blue line for Colin Ruffner. Ruffner to the corner for Stewarski. Stewarski put it just wide of the top corner, and the Blue Devils clear it, but not out. Hardy gave it away to Caden Lane. He can't clear it. Look at this power play shift by the Panthers. Stewarski dropping for Hardy. 25 to go in the man advantage. They've been in the Lebo zone this entire time. Centering pass and a giveaway there to Klasnick. Klasnick might have a chance shorthanded if he hustles, but he's content to just get this puck deep and come off here at the end of the penalty killing shift. Final half minute of second period play as the Panthers ice this puck. Now that'll drive any coach nuts, icing the puck on a power play. All that puck movement and beautiful puck movement by the Panthers, but not a lot of urgency in terms of getting shots on net. And one wonders if the Panthers might regret that as this game progresses. We shall see. 25.2 ticks to talk. 6 seconds left in the USC power play as the faceoff comes back into Panther territory to the left of Louis Liberatore. And the Blue Devils win the draw. Tran to the net. Save made. Rebound cleared out of there by Colin McFeely. We're back to five aside. 15 seconds left in the period. Sheegan Sanowski couldn't get to that puck for Upper St. Clair. Wilcox in pinching with Lehman. 5 seconds left in the period. Tran has it. Has to hurry here. Puts it in the glove of Liberatore. And we'll get one more face-off with just under 1 second to play. So Austin Martin is just going to come off here, and Jeremy Church is going to put an extra man on. Let's see how well Callan Wilcox can go forward off the faceoff. Well, he can't. And so we will cut the ice at the Mt.Lebanon Ice Center on senior night for the Mt.Lebanon hockey class of 2023. And your score through two is the Upper St. Clair Panthers 3 and the Mt.Lebanon Blue Devils 1. I'm Matt Popchock, and you're watching it on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV, presented by Weight Loss Direct. We'll take a break. I'll be back with third period action, but first, here's some music from the 412.
2 jumbo iced caramel drizzle peppermint mochaccino.
Extra caramel?
That's us.
I'd love to join you guys at the beach house for a few days, but between my job and the kids, it's just not that easy. Not to mention, how am I squeezing into a bikini after this winter?
Keeping off extra pounds while balancing a family and a career can be tough. And 500-calorie coffees won't get you there either. Weight Loss Direct provides a 24/7 support and one-on-one coaching to keep you on track and guarantee you success and health. Start your journey at weightlossdirect.com. Look at him, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, climbing his way through the corporate rat race. We've all been there, focused on that next raise, promotion, chocolate bar. Keeping an eye on your health can be exhausting. Weight Loss Direct is a personalized wellness and weight loss program. We utilize an AI algorithm to determine your specific foods and match you with a real-life coach and an easy-to-follow meal plan so you could stay on track to success and health. Check out weightlossdirect.com to learn more.
All across the United States, each state has what's called an immunization information system. Immunization information systems, or IIS, are confidential, population-based, computerized databases that record all immunization doses administered by participating providers to persons residing within a given geopolitical area. In the United States, every vaccination registry is a bit different, which can become daunting and confusing. Enter PubHub. PubHub solves this issue by giving its providers the ability to connect and communicate to the state registry with one connection and one data format. For example, if a patient has received the COVID-19 vaccine, PubHub allows the provider to see if the patient has already received the vaccine, keeping everything safe and organized for everyone.
Ah, look at him, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, climbing his way through the corporate rat race. We've all been there, focused on that next raise, promotion, chocolate bar. Keeping an eye on your health can be exhausting. Weight Loss Direct is a personalized wellness and weight loss program. You utilize an AI algorithm to determine your specific foods and match you with a real-life coach and an easy-to-follow meal plan so you could stay on track to success and health. Check out weightlossdirect.com to learn more.
All across the United States, each state has what's called an immunization information system. Immunization information systems, or IIS, are confidential, population-based, computerized databases that record all immunization doses administered by participating providers to persons residing within a given geopolitical area. In the United States, every vaccination registry is a bit different, which can become daunting and confusing. Enter PubHub. PubHub solves this issue by giving its providers the ability to connect and communicate to the state registry with one connection and one data format. For example, if a patient has received the COVID-19 vaccine, PubHub allows the provider to see if the patient has already received the vaccine, keeping everything safe and organized for everyone.
And thank you, Old Neon, for that music you heard during the ice cut. And you can hear more from Old Neon and all the other great local bands you've heard all season long here on PIHL Hockey Night Live by logging on to musicfromthe412.com or downloading the Music from the 412 app to your Roku or Amazon Fire capable devices. A bit of a scoring discrepancy they're trying to get corrected at the table, but for the moment, shots on goal through 2 periods of play read 20 for the Upper St. Clair Panthers and 15 for the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils. And for the moment, second period shots on goal read 13 for USC, 11 for Lebo. Where it counts, it is Upper St. Clair 3, Mount Lebanon 1, as the Panthers are trying to be the who invited that guy and crash the senior night party for the Blue Devils and their 7 senior night honorees. And it was a junior, Jacob Lehman, who got Mount Lebanon on the board 3:56 into the first period, beating Louis Liberatore short side set up by Parker Arlett, as Arlett registered his first varsity point of his PIHL career. But Upper St. Clair answered back with just 9 seconds left in the first period on a pretty backdoor play to Colin Ruffner, who converted from Stawarski and Hardy to make it 1-1 after one. In the second period, a shorthanded goal credited to Peyton Gillespie, 5:35 into the middle frame, set up by Ruffner and Hardy. And 11:23 into the period, Ruffner from Stawarski made it a 3-1 game for the Panthers, which is where we stand right now. Ruffner and Stawarski continue to be 1 and 2 in the Class AAA scoring race. Stawarski now with 11 points in his last 4 games, including this one, as he's got a pair tonight. A 3-point night for Ruffner, coming off that Player of the Month award. Upper St. Clair now with 32 second period goals on the regular season. That's the most of any team in Class AAA, and it really does feel like they took control in that period, but the Blue Devils still just one good shift and one good shot away from being right back in this game. And they've got a Player of the Month at their own, at the other end, and Martin in between the pipes there. And goaltending can be the ultimate equalizer, as the Panthers are guilty of icing to begin the third period. Get a couple big saves, find some open ice the other way, you never know. Martin certainly the kind of player capable of stealing a game for the Blue Devils. The Blue Devils had to steal 2 points on the road last Thursday night against Baldwin on Baldwin's senior night. Won that game 4-3 in overtime. Mount Lebanon had only managed 5 goals in the previous 4 games combined before they pulled off that big comeback. And trying to build off that momentum here tonight at home and stay in the Penguins Cup playoff race, as that last spot is still up for grabs. Played at the left point, long range shot by Tauk is in on Martin, but referee Featherstone saying the point is moot because the Panthers are offside. David Stock making a line change before the defensive zone faceoff. 2 very storied programs in action here at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center tonight. 2 South Hills rivals, 2 teams that have combined for 9 Penguins Cup championships and 5 Pennsylvania Cup championships. In the PIHL era, they've combined for 3 and 2, respectively. Upper St. Clair last winning states under Larry Marks in 2011. And of course, Mount Lebanon's current assistant, Dave Hornack, was under Paul Tabai on the last Mount Lebanon state title team in 2006. Some, present company included, might say the greatest team in league history, if not Western PA history. Team that featured league scoring champion Tyler Murovich, who eventually ended up in rookie camp with the Columbus Blue Jackets, and among others, Shane Ferguson, son of former Pittsburgh Penguin George the Fergie Flyer Ferguson. A very memorable team, that 05-06 Blue Devils squad. And right now, Mount Lebanon with a much younger team, those 7 seniors aside, and trying to battle through growing pains here. And Jeremy Church in his second season trying to push the program back to its traditional winning ways, as the net behind Austin Martin has become dislodged. 2 minutes into the third period with the Panthers up by a pair. Ruffner on hat trick watch, wins the faceoff. Stewarski put it off the side of the net, and the rebound is again off the side of the net. The student section for Mount Lebanon is clamoring that the net is dislodged, and in fact it is. Officials haven't taken notice though, and fortunately for Mount Lebanon's sake, they clear this puck back to center. I'm not sure even Austin Martin knows, quite frankly, as Ruffner brings it over the line and shoots it off the side of the net. Stewarski for Jalamis, to Stewarski on the half wall. Ruffner pursuing the puck aggressively. He is escorted out of that play by Parker Arlett. Ruffner back to center now with it for Upper St. Clair, and he's content to just get it deep and come off for a line change. Zach Hardigan pinching as he hits a man up high. That's Arlett. Play continues as the Blue Devil partisans want a call. Hardy trying to play it on one hand. He works around a man and falls to his stomach as the Blue Devils flip this puck up, but not out. Jeremy Church arguing that that puck came offside on the Panthers, but we play on with 13:43 to go and counting in period 3. McFeely flips it into Lebo territory. A misplay there by the Blue Devils and a body check there on one of the Panthers. Turnaround try by McFeely goes wide, and the rebound comes right to Gillespie, the alternate captain. He goes down low to McFeely. McFeely double teamed by a couple of Blue Devils in behind the Mount Lebanon net. Upper St. Clair still with the puck though. Cross ice it comes to Will Duff. Duff sends it behind the net for Gillespie. Gillespie goes down to his backside as the puck squirts free to Offerman. Offerman bringing it through center for the Blue Devils, who are changing behind the play. Offerman on one hand and behind the USC net, taking matters into his own hands as the Panthers finally win that puck back and send it across the ice. Offerman promptly sending it back in. Caden Lane out in front to nobody in particular, but Paul Zimick with a good recovery there at center point. Zimick on his backhand for the sophomore, Brian Offerman. Rankin up ahead of the play, trying to hook up with Fisher as he is hit with a shoulder. Rankin has it to the goal! Burial! 4-1 Upper St. Clair Panthers. 4 unanswered goals for the visitors with 12:28 to go in regulation. Rankin, his first goal as an Upper St. Clair sophomore. And the pit gets a bit deeper for the boys in yellow. Mount Lebanon wearing those Michigan Wolverine-esque alternate jerseys on senior night as the Panthers have scored again. Martin flips it out in disgust, and Drew Lesak, another sophomore, will nuzzle the nylon for the first time this season in varsity play. 2 goals in rapid succession in this third period as the Panthers have opened it up here on Mount Lebanon senior night. And this Panther offense, which, as I said, had been really feast or famine as of late, has come roaring to life in a big way. Backdoor play in front, and Lesak, just like that, looking for his second. Another shot blocked, loose in front. Panthers not taking their foot off the accelerator as the Blue Devils finally get this puck back to center with under 12 minutes to play in the third period. Upper St. Clair 5, Mount Lebanon 1. Now 5 unanswered goals by the Panthers. Gates to the point. Arlett slap shot, deflected out of play up into the protective netting, and you just don't want this thing to get ugly here, which, you know, it's a senior night game, it's a rivalry game, emotions already running high.
USC goal scored by number 85, Drew Lesak, assisted by number 84, Dominic Coward. Time of the goal, 12:16.
That's got to be That's something that David Stock likes to see, the secondary players, the peons, if you will, getting into the act here for the Upper St. Clair Panthers. It's not just the Ruffner and Stewarski show. Blue Devils get this puck deep. Sheegan Sanowski playing it to his own corner. Jalamis bodied up high as this puck comes out of play. Now, Upper St. Clair, after tonight, they meet Baldwin on February 23rd, a team with whom they share the Ice Castle. And then they conclude the regular season by taking the long drive up 79 and playing the Cathedral Prep Ramblers as this wrist shot goes just wide from the stick of Zach Hardy. Zimic to the boards. Blue Devils get it back to center. And you wonder if the proverbial air has been let out of the balloon here in this third period. Jalamis reverses the play to Sheegan Sanowski. Up to Aaron Stewarski. Chase Stashowski, bodied up high by Stewarski. Hardy to the goal. Good poke check there by Martin as he continues to battle. Martin had 21 saves in the last meeting between these South Hills rivals. He's got 20 thus far tonight. Mt.Lebanon just unable to get the motor going offensively, and for the Blue Devils, that's been the story of their season as we get a penalty coming up here against the home team. And I think we might also have some Mt.Lebanon fans getting ejected here. Referee Featherstone pointed to the security guard on duty off to our extreme right. And I'm trying to pick up on what's happened. And I believe one or more of the student body are in fact being ejected. Now the penalty was actually on Upper St. Clair through all that racket. And officials, I think, are just waiting for what they deemed were unruly fans to leave the building here, or at least leave the rink, before we get back to play with just over 10 minutes to go in the third period. Officials still having a conversation with rink security. And the clock, by the way, has begun running, and it's now running under 9 minutes 30 seconds. And Jeremy Church is scratching his head just as much as I am at this point. Just a bizarre series of events here as they're continuing to remove students from the student section. And the Mt.Lebanon coaching staff, I think, is trying to figure out why. Aaron Stewarski was the guilty party for Upper St. Clair. The Panthers lead 5-1. That's what we know, and right now that's about all we know. Strange things afoot at the Mt.Lebanon Ice Center as we're finally back to action here. Blue Devils on the power play, trying to claw back in it here. Puck toward the net and it put in! Matt Gates got the end of his stick on that one. and he tucks it in behind Louis Liberatore. An MTL PPG, and the Blue Devils cut the deficit to 5-2 at the midpoint of period 3. Matt Gates now with 4 points in his last 5 games, and now has goals in back-to-back league contests, with that power play marker. For Gates, his 9th of the season. His 3rd power play goal of the year, by the way. Now, Lebo, at the very least, has something positive to build on as Liberatore has to make a save there, and the rebound is put wide over top the net by Wilcox. So after a very strange series of events that saw Aaron Staworski be penalized and a majority of the Mount Lebanon student section be excused from the rink, Mount Lebanon makes it a 3-goal game. Now, at the very least, Gates can celebrate a senior night goal as his 9 goals and 13 points lead this Mount Lebanon club in 2022-2023. Wilcox picking up one of the assists, his 2nd power play assist of the season. Chance for the Panthers at the side of the net. Martin ready as he makes the save and covers. And a retaliation penalty being taken by one of the Panthers. That's Ruffner, who's going to be excused. And I just don't understand why Colin Ruffner did that. I mean, you're up 3 goals. You've already conceded 1 power play goal in this 3rd period. You don't want to make a game interesting that really doesn't need to be interesting at this point. Let's just put it that way. If you're Upper St. Clair, I mean, just not a smart penalty there for Ruffner to take. I'm sorry. And it's not like Ruffner did a whole heck of a lot, but when you do what he did right in front of an official and clearly right after the whistle blew, they're going to get you. And they're going to be well within their right mind to get you. So the Blue Devils, just like that, go right back on the man advantage, but the Panthers win the faceoff. And a chance shorthanded for Staworski, who gets knocked to his knees. That fires up the Mount Lebanon bench with 7.5 to go in the 3rd period. Cross-checking the indication against the All-Star senior and PIHL Class AAA scoring leader. As Nick Morgan watches this puck Murphy dumped all the way the length of the ice. Martin casually settles it down. 1.5 minutes to go in the power play now for the Blue Devils. And if they can get another one here, then the plot thickens. Icing, though, on Mount Lebanon. And so that'll stop the power play clock at 1:19. Rankin taking the face off against Wirtz. Rankin wins it, and he puts it wide of the crease. Panthers continue to press shorthanded. Brian Offerman over the blue line. Puts it wide of Liberatore's blocker, and the rebound comes right out to Rankin, but he can't hang on. Now he'll at least clear the zone for Upper St. Clair. As Garces gets it near side to McFeely, who flips it in behind the Mount Lebanon blue line. Gloved down legally by Offerman, who puts this puck up in the air and into the corner. Sanowski, clears the zone for the Panthers. Final 35 seconds of this Blue Devil power play, trying to cut into a 3-goal deficit. Zimic outletting it with one of his teammates, Jacob Lehman, who was not on the same page as he wanted to come off at the end of his shift here. And Lisak comes the other way shorthanded. Lisak, who has a goal in this 3rd period, his first as a sophomore this season for the Panthers, concedes possession. Wilcox up through center for Mount Lebanon. Callan Wilcox into the glove of Liberatore, who makes a nice save there on the Mount Lebanon captain. Face off one defensively by the Panthers, who come back 2-on-3. Keller centers it, shot saved, made Martin, rebound put wide by Lisak. He was right there on the doorstep, but he couldn't settle the puck down, and now Martin has to make a save from long range at the end of this Upper St. Clair penalty kill, which is successful with 5.5 to go in regulation. And so now you wonder if you're David Stock on the Upper St. Clair bench, are Ruffner's and Stowarski's nights over? You know, you don't want to get your best players hurt in a game that seemingly the Panthers have in their rearview mirror here with not a lot of time left in the third period, up by 3 goals. Panthers able to restore some sanity to the proceedings with a penalty kill here. And so 5-on-5 come the Blue Devils over the Upper St. Clair blue line. Snapshot, Liberatore, another glove save. This time he denies Braden Wirtz. Face off won by the Blue Devils. It comes to Morgan at center point. Behind the net it comes, now near side for Stowarski. Tapped at center. Settled down by the Blue Devils, who gain the red line and send it deep. Stowarski for Hardy. Hardy, left circle, shooting it off the shoulder of Austin Martin. Stowarski playing it in the corner. Up to Sheegan Sanowski. He goes left point to Galamis. That puck went by everybody. Panthers continue to cycle here in the Mount Lebanon zone. Sheegan Sanowski, cross ice for Galamis, for Hardy. Hardy shooting off the blocker of Martin. Good save there by the Mount Lebanon senior as the puck goes out of play. Sawyer Klasnick controls for Mount Lebanon. Outletting for Matt Gates. Gates, who has a power play goal in this third period, pursuing this puck, but he is cut off by Mucho. Near side it comes now to McFeely. McFeely from his own zone, up through center. Eberhardt pulling this puck back inside the Mount Lebanon blue line, and this puck was played with a high stick, according to referee Hendry. So with under 4 minutes to go in the game, this faceoff's going to come back into Mount Lebanon territory. And off the tie-up, Mount Lebanon has it. Sawyer Klasnick 1-on-3. Gets this puck deep. Galamis to the boards, taken away by Gates. Gates through a crowd. Bouncing puck went just wide of Liberatore. Offerman through traffic over Liberatore's glove hand. Eberhardt gets to the rebound first. Gets it to the corner for Klasnick. Behind the net for Wilcox. Wilcox leaving it for Matt Gates. And the Panthers finally able to get possession and get it back to center. Eberhardt puts it off an Upper St. Clair glove. Galamis and Sheegan Sanowski hooking up there as it's turned over to Klasnick. Klasnick on one hand, out in front, put it off a Panther skate. It's loose in front and cleared out of there by Galamis. The senior defenseman not standing on ceremony there for USC as Mount Lebanon has to tag up here. Blue Devils going to make a line change with 2:50 to go in regulation. Upper St. Clair ahead 5-2. Keller in pursuit. Keller behind the net. Keller on his backhand. Ridden off the puck finally by the Blue Devils. Coming up through center is Wirtz. Wirtz is dispossessed. And this puck settled down at the blue line and sent the other way by Tran. Lehman has to let it go on a delayed offside. Upper St. Clair has it as Tauk is worked over by Lehman. Those two get tied up, and a penalty coming up here. And we get some fisticuffs after the whistle. So let's see if we get more than just one penalty with 2:05 left in regulation. Hooking is the indication, and it's going to go against the Blue Devils. Jacob Lehman's going to be sent off here. Only the second power play of the night for the Panthers. Their penalty kill has been mostly superb, 3 for 4, including a shorthanded goal in period 2. Upper St. Clair controlling off the faceoff. Stewarski for his captain, Garces. Garces centers it for Hardy, for Ruffner. Ruffner shooting off the crossbar. That close to the HT was Colin Ruffner. Cross-ice pass, Stewarski couldn't handle. Stewarski takes it off the bounce, goes to the corner for Garces. Garces up to Ruffner. Ruffner stick checked by Gates, now bodied up high by the Mount Lebanon senior. Gates kicks it loose and now tries to counterattack shorthanded. Hardy retreating and under extreme duress tries to play this puck. Blue Devils have a chance the other way. Here's Gates. Gates to the goal. Gates shooting over the glove hand of Liberatore. A great penalty killing shift here by Matt Gates, the co-captain. Stewarski for Gillespie. Gillespie for Ruffner. Approaching the final minute of regulation time. Midway through the Panther power play. Hardy shooting, save made, Martin rebound, and I think we're gonna get a crease violation here as that puck was not completely covered. Gillespie was the man on the doorstep looking for the loose puck. That's not a crease violation, I beg your pardon. The net became dislodged behind Martin. So the final minute of Mount Lebanon Senior Night 2023 sees the Panthers send this puck around the boards on a late power play. Hardy for Ruffner, left wing circle, cross ice intended for Stewarski. Good break up there by Wilcox. Stewarski out in front. And Martin run into it the side of the net as Garces is shoved up high a couple times by Offerman. The sophomore giving him the business as he's peeled away by the referee. .4 ticks to talk in this game, and 39 remaining on the Panther power play. Mount Lebanon will go to 5-14 on the season with their regular season finale at the Barrel Complex coming up on February 23rd as they take on Pine Richland. And we get a fight in the corner here as players push and shove, and we're gonna get more penalties just as soon as they can straighten this all out. Now it feels like a rivalry game. Both benches like what they see. Dominic Keller, the Panthers senior, has been given the gate, it appears. And we'll just wait for Hendry and Featherstone to sort this out with Austin McLean over at Public Address. Faceoff will come back inside Mount Lebanon ice in the final 41 seconds of play. Upper St. Clair, by the way, will go to 10-7 plus 1 shootout loss on the year. So they will win both games on the season series here, and they will improve to 2-1 in the month of February. Coincidental unsportsmanlike conduct penalties are indicated as Stewarski misses high and wide. Unable to catch the names, we apologize, but we're back to action here as the Blue Devils remain on the penalty kill. Of that much we are certain. For 10 more seconds as Hardy crosses the line. Hardy to the goal, tees it up for one of his line mates, Al-Salani, as the power play expires. 3 seconds to go. And so the Upper St. Clair Panthers go down the block and knock off the arch rival Mount Lebanon Blue Devils here on Blue Devils Senior Night at the Mt.Lebanon Ice Center. Hockey hugs for senior netminder Louis Liberatore, who makes 16 saves in the victory. Austin Martin with 24 tonight at the other end for Mount Lebanon on his senior night. And so the top 2 scorers in PIHL Class AAA, Colin Ruffner and Aaron Stewarski, combined for a 5-point night to lead the Panthers to a road win. Thank you, executive producer Todd Kazarowski. Thank you, camera operator Michael Lyman. Thank you, Austin McLean at Public Address. And thank you, Mount Lebanon Hockey Club, for your cooperation and letting us film your senior night festivities. And good luck to all you 7 Mount Lebanon hockey seniors. And congratulations on fine seasons. Once again, your final score. The Upper St. Clair Panthers 5, the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils 2. Avonworth at Chartiers Valley is up next here on PIHL Hockey Night Live. I'm Matt Popchock, and you've been watching it on 10 Band TV, presented by Weight Loss Direct.